Morning, Steve Freed in Chicago with the results of the USDA March 31st U.S. acreage and stocks report. Well, the numbers were fairly close to the average trade guess. So we'll look at the numbers crop by crop and kind of come up with some assessment of what they said. First in the beans, the March 1 stocks were just a little bit bigger than the average trade guess. So we might have gained about 20 million bushels in the old crop supply. The acres, as far as the average guess was concerned, also just a little bit above, so we might have gained a little bit of bushels there. So if you were using a 120 carryout for old crop beans, you might now be using a 140 or 150, and next year's crop looks adequate based on the acres. The surprise came a little bit in the corn number. Basically, their corn stocks for March 1 was around 7 billion bushels. That's about 100, maybe 130 million bushels below the average guess. They didn't find any bushels, which is supportive to the corn market. Over in the acres, they're a little bit below the average trade guess. So if we plug in a trend yield, that's about 200 million bushels less than what the market had thought. So if you were using a 14, 15 carryout of $1.9 billion or even a little bit above that, you're probably thinking it might be 200, 250 million bushels below that. And that could support corn prices. Over in the wheat, it was kind of a wash. Their stocks numbers were a little bit bigger than what the market had thought, maybe by 25 million bushels. Acres were down a little bit more than what people thought, maybe by 25 or 30 million bushels. So that's kind of a wash, so not much in the wheat market. Right now, beans are lower, wheat's lower, and corn's actually a couple cents higher on the day, and I think these numbers will support corn for a while until we know a little bit more about the weather. So again, for the most part, wheat, soybean numbers pretty close to expectations. Corn numbers were a little bit below the average trade guess, suggesting a little bit tighter corn supply. As always, these are my thoughts, not those of ADM or ADM Investor Services, and have a safe and profitable trading day.